I'm joined by the head coach of the VI Raiders, Shawn Arabsky. So, Sean, how's the off season been?
It's going really well right now, for sure. We actually start our first on-field practice on Monday, which, again, blessed to be on Vancouver Island where we've been able to been outside the last couple of weeks as well. Even like 5, 6 degrees out to get some work in. So we start our first on-field practice Monday. We're in the gym 3, 4 times a week, and recruiting is going really well too. It's been very interesting going from recruiting from an 0-10 team to where like no one wants to come play here to now where it's like DMs are flooded and the excitement around the team is definitely a lot different this year, which is exciting.
So, you mentioned obviously a couple of years ago you went 0-10 to 4-6 this past year. So, how did you manage to do that? Because it seemed like pretty much overnight, like in the first game, you guys were competing hard with Prince George, and then shocked everyone by taking Okanagan to the ropes. Just tell me how you were able to do that seemingly like overnight. Went from 0-10 to being a competitive team to now this year. A lot of media and experts have you guys slotted as potentially the second best team in the league preseason.
Yeah, honestly, it's definitely like a day by day thing. Like when I joined, Andrew Harris and I kind of joined around the same time, and we had very similar visions for the program. My vision is to make it as close to a university program as possible with, the structures in the off season, the quality of coaching staff, and Andrew's as well of like bringing this team back to a national contender, and give guys opportunities to play in the CFL and university. So it definitely has not felt like overnight. Like that first year was a mess and basically thought the program might die. So, it's definitely been like a day by day thing where like just couple wins here and there, like last year in the off season, just recruiting locally again, being able to obviously again like with the departure of Janky was kind of just like a perfect time line as well for us to kind of start to um, roll in the off season. So it's kind of just it's been really slow, even though it feels fast. But like just adding a couple more coaches that we've added this year, which are going to be huge. Like Trevor Bowles, who we should announce next couple weeks is going to be a co-line coach, and he's got 2 Grey Cups under his belt and played in the CFL for 10 years. So adding guys like that and, adding Tarek from West Shore as well back to help with GM special teams. It's just like basically since December this year, I feel like almost every day or every week, like we're getting another win where it's like, yeah, like jump on, like we're really doing something cool here. So it's really just been like trusting the process and like also like trusting in, Andrew, myself, like Jake, who's been around now the last couple years too, that it's like, okay, even if we even like that, that mid season stretch last year where we lost like games by 40, 50 points when we were missing Sadler and um starting a rookie quarterback, it's like, losing like that starts to fracture a team. So being able to be resilient through that, to be able to win the last 3 games of the season and show the country that we are a team that guys are going to want to play for and we're going to compete to where, now it's like now like Alex Walters, the Laurier receiver, signed within like 3 days because of kind of like the excitement and the genuine connection we're able to make with the players and kind of show them that, one, we're going to be a really competitive team this year, as well as the development system we have in the offseason, as well as the connections we have to get guys other places, which I don't think we're really going to see the fruits of that labor for like till next year when we get a bunch of guys signing to university.
Yeah, like that's a great point. You guys have had one of the top recruiting classes. I put a poll out this morning, and a lot of the votes were saying VI has the best recruiting class. So, I mean, you talked about it a little, but just expand on it a little more. How are you able to get such a good class and, so much talent to come to a team that was 0-10 only 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, with the second lowest budget in the league, like it'd be awesome to be able to like offer guys full scholarships to like VIU or like to be able to offer like full housing and stuff. But like really honestly, I think like as recruiters, we just do a really good job of like creating a strong connection with the kids and like being able to kind of sit them down and like, go over our vision for them of how we kind of think they can succeed for us, like how they'll help us succeed, and kind of like, whether it's a 2, 3 year kid who wants to go play university, or a kid who wants to do a trade and be here for 5 years. I really think it's like just our ability to kind of connect with them and, um, able to like paint the picture for them of a culture that will foster success for them. So, um, really, I think it's just like being really genuine because, I think football is a funny business to where like I feel like almost every second coach I hear about is someone saying like he's a car salesman or like snake oil salesman and slimy and stuff like that. And obviously some kids get done wrong by coaches or feel up. But, I feel like in a business like that where, you are selling a program and you're selling yourself, that is like it's very easy to say things you can't come through with. And hopefully we aren't doing that, and we're going to do our best to not do that. But I do feel like we've done a really good job of being genuine and true. And I think our philosophy as a coaching staff is to kind of like really dive deep into who we are. And I think the kids can see that, like when you have a pure soul, or trying to, because that's they're trying to be their best self as well, like on the field and off the field, and they want to be in an environment that they feel like they can get better again on and off.
Yeah, 100%. So talk a little bit about like what Andrew Harris has meant for the program, because obviously a bunch of CFL teams, or sorry, CJFL teams have former CFL players that had success in the league, but none quite the caliber of Andrew Harris, where almost every single one person in the country will know who he is. So how has he helped the program and helped you out?
Yeah, I mean, just even just from a president of the team standpoint to have the executive decision on things, like having the football background he has, is huge because now he's making decisions based on like how to help this team win, how to develop the kids, rather than just like looking at, a spreadsheet and money and kind of like how is the team going to get by. So that's been really huge on that end. And then for my own development as a coach and professional in the football world has been huge, like as a mentor, even working on like a code of conduct for our coaches and players. And, with his experience in the CFL, like 14 years, he's had, I don't know how many head coaches, but X amount of head coaches. So that's a huge amount of resources that he's had, of successful organizations, or sometimes some teams weren't as successful. So for him to be able to pass that knowledge on to us at the junior level is huge because we want, our philosophy for this team is to run it like it's the 10th CFL franchise. So, having his expertise on that, and I can just even call him and just ask him questions and just really just like bounce ideas off him. And again, just to have that resources is huge. And now he's with the Rough Riders, which again, him just still being in the CFL and like, being able to affect change on rules and stuff as well, like to help junior guys out or to help our own players out with the contacts he has is huge. And again, just because like the last couple of years, like we haven't had a whole lot of guys go to university yet because of just the quality and stuff like that of the players. But now with the guys that we do have and that we've been developing the last couple of years, it's like we're gonna have guys go to the CFL Regional Combine like this year and next year. We're gonna have guys. Our goal is to have 7 or 8, U Sports commits this year. So part of that is, as well having Andrew to be able to use his network, as well as kind of the network that we're building as a coaching staff.
Yeah, and what Andrew Harris has done, he's an absolutely amazing ambassador for not just VI, but the entire CJFL. So when I found out that news that he was joining the Riders, I was super excited. So just talk a little bit about like why players should want to join your team. I know you've been in, deep recruiting battles, heated recruiting battles of teams all over the country. Why should they, despite your lower budget, choose you guys over? The other teams that are offering them, maybe more like financial incentives.
Yeah, I think um, is the team that we're kind of creating this year is going to be an extremely, extremely fun team. We're going to have a very high-powered offense, an older offense, that is ready to win. defensively, we're gonna be putting pieces together of like young and old. So that's kind of been a big selling point to, some of the defensive guys is like, there are opportunities to kind of get on the field right away. And Vancouver Island is the most beautiful place in Canada. So I think for any kids that what I tell prairie guys too, especially is like if you plan on settling down in the prairies and whatnot, like to come out here and spend your 18, 19, 20-year-old young life, especially if it's just for the summer, it's like the summers on Vancouver Island are elite. Like hanging out at the river, like going to Tofino. We're always pushing guys to kind of explore out here. And then, I think the quality of the coaching staff that we've built is one of the best in Canada, in my opinion. And I think it's going to really show this year. Like last year, we were very young and we were still missing some pieces that we didn't add till later. And we still found a lot of success. Like, that Okanagan game, because I wasn't able to be at the Prince George game because of my wedding. It was like that Okanagan game was like one of the first times I've ever actually put a game plan together for a team. And, we have had a lot of success that game. But also had a lot of weaknesses as well. That second half adjustments was huge for us last year that we're going to build upon. But I think it's just really about trying to build this program to be a university program, to where like kids are coming here, developing for 2, 3 years, getting in the weight room on field like 5 days a week, just like when I was at Carleton, the same things we were doing there, to where it's like okay, it's basically like one, the development program, and then as well as the connections to kind of get guys to where they want to go. So it's like they're not missing any pieces by playing for a junior program because, again, with our experience from a couple years ago, it's like not all junior programs are created equal. Like not all development is the same in junior. You get some teams that are great, elite, and other teams that are more like a country club. So to come here and develop and then, have our network to be able to go play in the CFL or university. And I think just kind of the skin in the game we have as coaches. Like again, I think one of is like, Felice Toscano, our all Canadian DB. It's like we took him to the Subway Bowl, uh, where a bunch of youth sports coaches, and I just took him around and tried to introduce him to every single coach that was there, just because like it's really important for us to kind of give those guys the platform to talk to other coaches. And he's got a full ride to a Can West school if he wanted to take it this year, but he feels like he's got unfinished business for this year, just like a lot of the guys that have other options, which again I think just kind of tells a story about the team that we're building for this year um and even in the future that something even too like 2 years ago when I first joined, it was like we had like 20 guys ask for a release like the first year I was like there in the off season. So like that almost felt normal for the first 2 years to where like this year I think we've had one kid ask for a release so far. And I think it'll be interesting kind of at spring camp because it's gonna be very competitive. We're bringing in a lot of guys. So um we can only have 75, 80 spots, so it's gonna be a very, very competitive spring camp, which we're very excited about.
So what do you think were the expectations for this coming season? Like you said, there's a lot of hype around you guys. A lot of you people are, talking about maybe winning the Cullen Cup, maybe advancing to the national final, national semifinal. Realistically, what are your expectations this year?
I mean, like our mantra has been natty or bust, like since the last game of last year, or when we beat Valley. It's like, it was a great way to end it, but like it was still a disappointing season. With Andrew at the top, like who won 3 national championships. Even when I played, Jake played, like Jordan Kuziak, Tarek Bryan, like we all played in national semifinals for the VI Raiders. So like we all have this expectation, a standard for the VI Raiders to be on the national stage. So like that is our goal. And then it's just kind of like we just reverse engineer from there. So yeah, our goal is to win the Cullen Cup. Our goal is to win every game, host a playoff game. So I mean, realistically, those are our goals, and that's where our North Star is. And we're just gonna kind of keep building for that. I was meeting with Warren yesterday, our senior advisor, just about our team goals and stuff. And as a defense, our goal is to lead the league in rushing defense and turnovers. So those are some other goals. But I mean, it's to win every single game for sure, and we're just going to kind of take that week in, week out, and have our North Star of the national championship, and then just kind of work backwards from there because anything less would be a disappointment for this team that we are building this year, and kind of where just we want the standard for the VI Raiders to be. So.
Yeah, 100%. You're setting a great foundation, great program. We got Wizard Takes got a lot of expectations. Is there anything else you want to talk about quick before we wrap up?
Um, Not really. I mean, I think it's just we're very excited. I think it's a really fun group we have. And again, it's just been like we still have so much growth left to go. Going to the national championship doesn't just you don't just snap your fingers and do that. Like there's a lot of structures we still need to put in place. There's still a few more pieces we need on both sides of the football and coaching staff and in on the board as well. So we're always looking to add people, players and coaches and volunteers, which, make this organization go. It's not up to one player or person. So, as much as we, want to just snap our fingers and be the national championship, we still have a lot of work to do. So, um, basically from there, it's just kind of putting each piece together for the puzzle. And it's been a very exciting puzzle to kind of work on. So, and, even like last year, it was basically just Jake and I and talking every day. We had the Murray brothers help recruiting as well. But like now it's like six people are like having phone calls every day. So it's just like the network of our team has really grown um and it's just exciting times to be a VI Raider. So pretty just excited for this season and excited for spring camp to come.
Awesome. Season can't come soon enough. So we thank you for taking time out of your day and graciously accepting the interview and best of luck this season.
Thank you. Go Wizard Takes.